last day before the Safari GTR leaves for Colorado. Now, if you missed some of the earlier videos, it is going out there as part of our activation for Zoomies. Zoomies is a brick and mortar that sells our merchandise. They do an event for their top salespeople, and I wanted to have something that embodies the LZMFG brand. Couldn't bring a drift car on a ski slope. That's where the Safari GTR came into play. We're gonna do a little bit of off-road excursions while we're in Colorado, but right now it's getting the car looking as good as it possibly can. So final fit and finish, livery, all that stuff we're gonna get into now.
First on the chopping block was getting the fog lights working. Now lucky for me, the Nismo fog lights came with a beautiful wiring harness that I was able to basically plug and play for all of the lights, but I needed somewhere to mount the switches, so I started fabricating my own little switch panel. Would have been nice to tie it in with some of the factory interior bits, but it was pretty cut up from the cage already. All-wheel drive controller took up some space, so I made a plate. That way I could mount the switches and be able to access them easily.
Being able to powder coat in-house makes me so happy. Literally wrinkle black all the things. For a quick bracket that I really didn't put much time into, I'm super happy with how it came out. Everything works, it's all using the proper relays and fuses. Biggest thing here, I don't know that I'm super crazy about it, I just didn't want like a cut edge here, so I bent the bottom just so it had like a little bit of a roll. And then there's only one bolt holding it in, but there's like a kind of like a pilot hole to hold it in place. It's not the most legit thing in the world, but for the amount of time I spent on it, I'm pretty happy.
Next is something that I was very much so looking forward to. You might have seen this bike frame laying in the background. It's not an exact match, but Prismatic had a color that was pretty close to the color of the wrap. And I wanted to basically build a bike using some of the same powder coat colors like wrinkle black, bronze, that kind of ties into the car that I could put on the roof to kind of remind people of our connection to BMX. It's where the brand got started. Zoomies is an action sports based company, so having the bike on the roof rack was really important to me, and the idea was to kind of tie it in with the livery and everything going on with the car.
Because of the fog lights sticking up higher than the roof rack, my typical roof rack that I run on the E46 wasn't going to work on this. So I actually made my own. This is a fork mount, similar to what you can buy, but I need something today since the car is leaving today. Obviously, I'm not going to be using my bike in Colorado where I need to have it on the roof of the car. However, being at Zoomies, part of the activation is having this car there to explain what we do. BMX is a large part of our brand, and it kind of ties everything together being at an action sports event. So I want to have it up here, but I also want to have my snowboard, which I actually am going to use at the event. And it's so close to fitting on the roof, but ever so slightly, it ain't gonna fit. So I got to decide either snowboard or I feel like there's got to be a way. It would look kind of ghetto just to strap it. I really want to have the snowboard on there too. It's so close. Maybe it will fit. Maybe I just had that monologue for nothing. If there was no sprocket there, so if I change it to the other side, would that make that big of a difference, or no, it's hitting the crank?
It's in the crank.
Okay.
Now for the finishing touch, it's livery time. So I worked with John Sabal again. He's the same person I worked with on the Supra. He's designed some legendary wide bodies and some very iconic liveries. He's got a real good attention to detail when it comes to design, placement of stickers and logos. And for this, we tried to take inspiration from some older Safari, some classic race cars, some historic Nismo builds, using simple shapes and lines to achieve a look that feels kind of retro and very Safari.
just like that, the GTR is officially off on its maiden voyage to Colorado. Kind of cool, brand new build going out there. I haven't had one of my cars out in Colorado in a long time, and I am gonna get the chance to enjoy it for a day before it ends up on the ski slope. Hopefully find some cool trails out there. A couple buddies sent me some links, so I'll be leaving for there in a couple days. In the meantime, we're gonna go back over to my house to check in on the renovations, show you guys what's up. All right, so this is a pretty big moment. We just got to see the brand new lighting that Mike just installed in the main area. Now lighting seems simple, right? Usually just chuck a recessed can in, but this is where the obsessed garage thing comes into play. Matt, very much like his car where he's constantly trying all the different exhaust options, has tried a bajillion different types of lights. And what he's landed on that is now his go-to, it's called DMF lighting. These are typically only used in what, like hospitals, skyscrapers, really industrial stuff. The quality of the light, the amount of light that it sheds. How many lumens are these exactly?
1,000.
And what was in here before?
600.
Okay.
So you had 6 of them at 600, now you have 13 at 1,000.
Heck yeah. So we got these in here, we got them up here. This house, one of the worst things about it, it's kind of built like a fortress, so you don't get a lot of natural light. It's really that window there, and then when the sun comes down, because like the way the roof overhangs, it just gets really dim in here. So lighting, I'm not a big like dim lit guy, so that kind of came out weird. But anyway, I'm excited. This is a big moment for the house. Now, this was a very, very polarizing thing that we did with the house. We painted the wood ceilings white. Now I want to let you know, right now it does not give you the full look. It kind of like feels a little like beach vibey, but the main reason why we did this, the wood was not like a super high quality wood. But the main issue is out in the area over here where we have the wood ceilings, there's gaps between the wood, and what happens is the hot air from like the ceiling and the roof mixes with the cold air coming up from the house through the cracks. The moisture creates mold, and it is just impossible for us to keep up with, impossible to keep clean. And to seal the ceilings, that doesn't look good with wood. So pretty much we had to paint the ceilings, and white is what we chose. It's gonna make everything feel a lot bigger. And in here, once we start to get a lot of like the dark accents and contrast colors, I think it's gonna look really, really good. And again, Matt has done all this. He's had a house with literally the same exact problem, and because of him, I'm able to avoid making the same mistakes. Originally, we wanted to just stain it. Probably would have ended up costing a lot more, and it wouldn't have lasted, so that's the route that we went. If you want more details on any of this stuff, head over to the Obsessed Garage channel. I'll put a link in the description. It's going along pretty fast. It's a new day, and we're diving back into content on the Legend car. One thing this car desperately needs that you might have heard in the last videos is a tune-up. Now, I'm not a big carburetor guy, but my friend Jack Cecil down at HP Logic is. He was gonna help me over the phone, but he's actually doing me one better, and he's coming up today, and he's gonna help me tune this thing up. Before he gets here, though, I'm gonna fix 2 problems with this car that I think will make it drive drastically better. The lack of side bite in the rear, and not as much angle as I would like in the front. In the front, adding more angle is pretty simple. We're just gonna slot the knuckle back more. Problem is, the shock is now this close to the tie rod. So what I'll do, oh, that's loose. I'm gonna cut this, move the shock a little bit farther back, and that should buy us enough real estate to move it, say, halfway back towards the knuckle, which will change that pivot point and give us quite a bit more angle. Let's see how many threads we got in there. Oh yeah, we're good. Threads for days. So it can basically be like pretty much touching it.
Yeah.
Just chop that end off and we should be good. It's so ridiculous how simple the knuckle is for this. It's literally just a piece of hunk of metal. I should really drill a hole instead of slotting it. I just like the idea of slotting it because then it gives me options to play with, you know? Yeah, I think once it's on the ground, it'll be alright though. Either that or I'll just cut it back.
That'll go?
Yeah, I'll trim it more.
Okay.
So to solve the problem of wanting more side bite, we've got higher offset wheels. Very simple suspension trick. Moving the wheels more inward to the chassis will give you more side bite because you're kind of putting more of the chassis weight over the wheel. Versus if you have a crazy wide body and crazy spacers in the back, you start to lose that off throttle side. And for the front, we have higher offset wheels, which will give us more clearance and hopefully not hit stuff when we have all our new angle. This is also your reminder that every $5 you spend on LZMFG or Drift HQ is going to get you entered for a chance to win our Podium 1 Ultimate Simulator worth over 50 grand. You can hear it in the background, the boys are playing with it. Get your entries before it's too late. Jack made it after lots of terrible traffic. I'm sorry, Jack.
Big P-car guy now.
Yep, huge P-car guy. Tell me about this engine. Do you know anything about it?
It's old, I can tell you that. What is this, a Honda?
It's a Yamaha. I don't even know what it's called. It's a 1200cc engine. I cleaned the carbs in it. It seems like when it gets hot, it gets really rich in the mid-range.
Okay.
And I know that you told me something to turn this, right? These things? That's my mid-jets?
Right, yeah. So the carburetors are going to have a few circuits. They're going to have a idle circuit. They're going to have a mid-range area, which is the needle. And then they're going to have a high.
And what's that?
This is your low. So
Okay.
these are, and you can tell what the screw does depending on which side of the carburetor it's on. Since this is on the back, this is going to be a fuel screw. If it were on the front, it would be an air screw.
Got it.
So by opening this, you're going to actually let in more fuel. We're gonna have to take. I think we're going to have to take the bowls off and take a look at the jets and everything just to see what's going on in there. But
It's a 4260. I had them apart. I cleaned them. I took apart all the floats today.
wow,
I checked them. I looked at them.
Are
None
they
were
nice
stuck.
and level.
I didn't know.
You didn't check the float level. That's all right.
I don't even know what that means. I just look for gunk.
Well, you know what? You got to be old like me to know about carburetors. most go-karts are carbureted.
Yeah.
All the old motorcycle engines, especially, are all carbureted. So
Jet skis.
jet skis, exactly. If you've had anything like pre-90s or 90s, pre-90s, it's probably carbureted. So, but jet skis, go-karts, motorcycles, those are the main ones. Okay, so these are called CV carburetors, constant velocity.
What does that mean?
What they do is
is the velocity constant?
It is. It's supposed to be. So what you're taking off right there is the diaphragm cover, which is on the ground now.
That's all right.
These are
5 minute rule.
These are 5 minute rule. These are your slide diaphragms. So basically, what these things do is they react to vacuum, and as the vacuum increases or decreases, the slide opens and closes.
So how do you check if it's level?
So these are not floats.
Oh.
These are slides. Your floats are down here.
Well, I took those apart.
You did?
Yeah, but I didn't check anything. I
Okay.
just cleaned it.
Okay. These just basically have a spring for tension that hold the slide down, and as vacuum increases, the slide comes up.
Okay.
And that's effectively that's your throttle, or that's how much air is entering into the motor.
I thought that was a float, so I was checking it for
this is
debris.
called a slide.
And I noticed the needle moves.
That's okay. It'll move a little bit, and you can change how rich the mid-range is by adjusting the needle height.
How do you do that?
Through here, there's just 2 screws inside here. Those 2 screws will hold. They'll contain the needle. And when you take those screws off, the needle will come out, and there should be a C-clip that it has different slots that we can adjust the needle height. And the higher you move the needle, the richer it gets in the mid-range and light throttle. The lower you put the needle, the leaner it gets.
So question for you. I'm sure you've tried to put like a carbureted car with traditional fuel injection. I was told that when you go over to fuel injection, you actually lose power. True or false?
That's false, effectively, because
I was just told people tend to make more power with the carbureted stuff.
I think that the reason why they're going to say that is because there aren't really any slide throttle bodies.
Got it.
Most throttle bodies
Because I'm
have a
thinking like big
butterfly.
V8 stuff.
Right. So,
which makes sense.
Yeah, and they just overdo it, and it doesn't make any sense. So what happens is with carburetors, most of them use those slides. And once the slide is open, there's no restriction in your intake, right? So most fuel injection or throttle bodies don't use a slide.
That makes sense.
But they do have them, so that would be the way that you would maintain the same power with the same diameter intake.
All right, we're gonna get our baseline. We're gonna start it and show Jack how she runs. Honestly, it's not bad. Like it revs out great. Yeah. It's just the mid range is just like. Bleh.
little flathead. Yeah.
Watch him just adjust one screw and then be like,
Oh,
all right, you're
100%.
good.
It's gonna be sound like rotary by the time he's done with this. Is this too big?
Yeah, too big. That one works. A little bit. See what they
You
react.
get more fuel or less?
A little bit more, just to see if it's gonna react to it.
I had a set of vacuum gauges, like the little bubble things, but they all kind of sucked. And I also probably lost them. That's the crunch.
That sounds lean to me.
Give her more fuel.
Let's take
Mike,
these.
where's my coffee? Mike! Where's his coffee?
This is an everyday occurrence.
I lose everything.
Where's your coffee? He's got it.
It's like my
So let's take the covers off.
Okay.
And let's see if we can adjust the needles. That's going to be the first way. We'll see if we can get that throttle.
I like that
response.
because taking off the entire carburetor.
Is a pain.
Yeah, dude. I did it with Grant before. It wasn't that bad.
Well, hopefully we don't have to. We're tipping.
Very important.
Yeah.
I had the best dad joke. There's a lot of really good dad jokes off camera. All right, what'd the tuner say to the other tuner that went on a date?
I don't know, Adam. What did the tuner say to the other tuner that went on a date?
Did you get the tip in?
Dun-dun-dun.
No one gets it.
I get it. Tuners get it. Okay, so here we go. Here's a spring. How about that? Now here comes our little duty dag.
And this is the thing you space out?
Yeah, this is the needle. So this has a little spacer. Oh yeah, it's a little spacer on it. But you see this clip?
Mm-hmm.
So that clip,
Oh, you can just move. the
we're gonna
location of
move. Yeah, we're gonna move that
it? Is
clip
it threaded or no?
down.
You just move
it's
it
not
down
threaded.
a notch.
Yeah, we're just gonna move it down.
Sick.
I'm gonna do 2.
All right.
Move it on 2 notches.
I like that.
Okay, here's number 1.
What's that do?
Idle. All right, you want to put the air filters back on?
Yeah, it sounds loads better.
Yeah, that's pretty much as much fuel as we can really add to it without rejetting it. In the and that
it sounds light years better.
yeah, it should get the response right without affecting the top end.
Now, just to clarify, I know there were comments saying, why do you need to drive partial throttle? Just floor it. In drifting, if you over wheel speed a car, which is what would happen with this if I was floored the whole time, you will spin out. So the best way that I can equate this, if you're in the rain, maybe first gear you can slide around and do donuts, but if you put it in second, the car's gonna wanna keep flipping around. Same thing happens with the drift car at higher speeds. If you over wheel speed the car for how fast the vehicle speed's going, you'll spin out. So you gotta be able to use the mid-range to control the wheel speed and make the car do what you want. Or you just add more grip. But this thing's already pretty fast.
Cut it hard. Feel a lot better, huh?
Oh my God.
Sounds good.
Amazing.
Awesome.
I can actually control it now.
There you go.
My angle feels sick too, by the way.
Really?
Dude, we should take it through the drop.
So the ego drop?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
working fantastic. I think I still have room for a higher offset rear wheel. If you can tell, the drop is a really good place to see the difference between like on throttle grip and off throttle grip. The second you're off throttle, it just wants to wash out. So I gotta get the wheels narrower to have more weight over it, or just put weight in the back. I'm out of fuel though, and we haven't been able to find any more 93 on the compound, so that's kind of a problem. It'd be nice if we had fuel. Hey, Owen, can you go check Colette's stash and see if she has any fuel in her shop? We could steal it.
Yeah, I'll check. That's on camera.
Well, the good news, it's okay. She doesn't watch my videos. Yo, the mid-range and like the resolution, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so much more enjoyable to drive.
Yeah, simple little changes are what make carburetors work. You know, it's tough. It's tough to figure out exactly if you don't know where to run to make the adjustment. It's hard to figure that stuff out. But going off of what you said and what we saw, that seemed to be the right move.
Yeah, before it was like all or nothing. If you weren't floored, it was like, and I had to abuse the clutch so much. Now it actually feels like it makes more power because I'm actually using the mid-range.
Sure, yeah, you're getting all that mid-range power. That's the key. It's not so much about full throttle, like you were saying. You don't need that so much, but being able to not have to stab the clutch all the time, and that makes a big difference.
Well, hopefully we can find more fuel. Next stage of this thing, I would say, is complete. I'm very happy. Still a little bit of room in the angle department. Jack, thank you so much for coming up here.
I got you, man.
If you like learning a lot about cool random engines and little random projects and racing vehicles like this legend car, check out Jack's channel, HP Logic, and he's got lots of cool stuff there.
Always got something weird.
If you're a big Sauron guy, he's about to break the 100-mile-an-hour record. Ooh. Can I put that out there?
That's fine.
Is it a record?
It's gonna be.
Is it?
I've had the record for like 3-4 years.
Uh-huh.
But a couple of people have been pretty close. So I always said that when someone got close to breaking my record, or if they broke it, I was going to go for it again. So I got some big stuff coming.
Sick. So anyway, thank you again. I really appreciate it. Man. I'm stoked. I can enjoy this thing more without it going the whole time I drive it. We're going to be heading off to Colorado bright and early in the morning. So I'm really excited to drive the car in some Colorado trails. make some stuff out there for you guys, and I'll see you soon. All right, what'd the tuner say to the other tuner that went on a date?
I don't know, Adam. What did the tuner say to the other tuner that went on a date?
Did you get the tip in?
I did.